Hey everyone, welcome to New Comic Book Day Book Club. Maybe the last ever if we can't figure out this whole hangout thing. John is worried that it is going to end midstream if we go past midnight, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be West Coast.
59 minutes and counting.
Yes. So we better hurry up. My name's Alec. This is White Whale Comics. I'm now monetized. Before I get to anything else, Comics with Bueller already gave us a $10 super chat. It says, "You are the future." I don't have anything fancy set up where it bings and shows it on the screen or anything, but
I would just counterpoint. I believe the children are our future.
Well,
you're welcome, and teach them well and let them
lead the way.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So I want to start off before I introduce my fine compatriots for the evening by officially welcoming everyone to the new Comic Book Day Book Club, where all super chats will be donated to literacy campaigns. I will caution and remind you though that Google takes 30% of that. So if it is over like $10, you might want to just donate to a charity of your choice instead. But it's your money. Do what you want. Thank you either way. So first, let me introduce my co-host. Say that generously. John from John's Comics with Kids. What's up, buddy?
I am super excited to see this. Look, Caleb's already dropping money in the chat. You're like a stripper on a pole up here, just throwing money at you.
That's not the first time, not the last time someone has said that. And finally, only a week late, we got Sam, the originator. That's his new nickname. From Sam's Tangled Web. What's up, Sam?
Thank you for having me. I just want to apologize for not being on last week, but better late than never. So.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it worked out. And glad to have you this week for sure. So yeah, this is going to be challenging doing a show and shouting out your super chats. Hopefully, you guys calm down a little bit. Or not, because it's for a good cause, so keep them coming. We do want to shout out the chat before we get started. John's Comics with Kids was here first of all, said rock and roll, Jamoke. Gray Matter Hulk was here. Old Wolf 65, NC State Slapjack said, "Have to check this out on replay, off to bed. Thanks for stopping in anyway, say hi." Big O is here. Caleb is here, dropping super chats. Chris Barrett, as always. Comic Books NYC, what's up, Cavi? Perry Comics, Sam I Am Comics, New Comics Smell, Comics Misexplained. New Comics Smell says, "No spoilers, didn't read it yet. Might not be the show for you. Might want to catch it on the replay." Discovery Bay Comics dropping a $4.99 super chat saying, "Congratulations, thank you very much." Same to you, buddy. Both hitting the 1K mark this past week. JP's Budget Collecting, Mr. Garrel, Steven Spot, Kingpen Comics, Ben Compton. Sam is also in the chat. Yep. Burning Block about 99 said, "I subbed. Thank you very much. I hope I don't disappoint you. The pressure is on now." Randy Ray Snake, Life with Two YouTubers, Raw Random Wolf. A bunch of new faces, a bunch of old faces. I love it.
I brought some of those people in for you.
Oh, thank you, Sam. The originator.
I figured you might need a little help.
Yeah, I gotta get. I'm on my way to 2K now.
Yeah,
Chris Barrett says.
On that fast rocket ship to the top.
Thank you. Chris Barrett says, "I'm already disappointed." Well, that's nothing new. You still keep showing up though. So anyway, we are talking about a comic book that I have here somewhere. Here it is. Powers of 10. John's Comics with Kids says, "I'm a cheap punk," and gave me $1.99. I appreciate it.
That's like a 2-page book, right? It's like a short book.
It's the thought that counts.
Right? It's like half a comic.
Powers of 10, not Powers of X, right? Is that what it's called?
I got the Storm cover. What did you get there, Sam?
Unfortunately, my guy did not give me the other connecting cover to House of X, so I have to go back and go get it.
I also pre-ordered the Stephanie Hans cover because I'm a sucker. But it's real nice
or
looking.
because she's talented. You could kind of go that way.
Yeah, I guess. It's a real nice looking cover. You should look it up. I should have sent this to Sam as well, but I'm a terrible host, and I sent this video to John. DS Comics, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. Soul Reaper, Shaka. There's a video called Powers of 10 from the 70s that is it shows a couple at a picnic, and it starts zooming out in every power of 10 it shows you a new box of how big the distance is getting, and it zooms all the way out past the Milky Way and then goes all the way down to like the smallest neutron atom that we can see, and so clearly it was inspired by this. The other way around. Jonathan Hickman was inspired by that video to come up with this idea of doing generations of mutants in powers of 10. So I should have linked the video in the description, but like I said, I'm a terrible host, so I didn't do that either. Comic Books NYC with a $1.99 super chat said I'll send another chat via PayPal. Congrats, thank you very much. Old Wolf 65 with a $4.99 super chat. Congratulations, thank you both very much.
I will say the video that you sent it to me, and you were very polite saying like, "Have you seen this?" And because it has like 1 million or 2 million views,
6 million,
or that,
yeah.
And I was like, "It's very nice that you would think I would have seen." It's so retro. It reminded me of I'm gonna go lost here. The Dharma Initiative 8mm reel to reel like films that they run. Like it just looks so old school. It's awesome,
but very fascinating, right?
Yeah, I mean, as a math person, I love math and science. It's nice to see magnitudes and to see how quickly the universe expands when you keep multiplying by 10. It just gets out of control.
And I had the hilarious joke where John said, thank you for assuming that I might have seen this. And I said, well, it has 6 million views. You might have been one of the 6 million or 10 or 100. See what I did there? Yeah.
Clever. Hey, John said lost. Drink, everyone. Yes. Good job.
And I am here to plant the Croquea seeds for this group. So.
The guys at the LCS that I've been going to were desperately trying to give those away, and nobody wanted them.
Oh, come on. It's a collector's item. Come on.
Yeah, until they start like growing in the bag somehow.
Oh.
I'm sure they won't.
So can I, like, before we get too deep, I just wanted like a hint of your thoughts on the book, because obviously, we're 10 minutes in. We could talk about the book, I guess.
Yeah, it is a power of 10, so we're allowed to talk about the book.
Do you feel like this is a better book than House of X, or do you feel like it's hard to separate them in any way? Sam, what do you think? Can you separate these two stories, or do you feel like you could distinctly say this one is a better read, or I enjoyed this one better?
Yeah, I can definitely separate them because House of X to me felt like totally an X-Men book, and Powers of X had different layers, and it was an interesting read, I should say.
What about you, Alex? Yeah.
So I will say my opinion is that House of X was a better X-Men book. This was a better comic for me.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I'm also a pretentious jerkbag who likes weird indie stuff, and this felt like a weird indie book more than.
I just put that aside. Yeah, I just put that aside. I do think that the first book was an easier and more enjoyable read for me. Not to say that this one wasn't, but because of the 4 different timelines and the epic amount of word boxes going on in this, there were definitely times when I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to reread these 2 pages again because I did not get what was going on here. And again, I mentioned it on Comic Core. for the life of me, I had real hard time remembering Nimrod, the character, and enough about Nimrod to because he's a huge part of this book.
And great. So good in this.
Yeah, he's an interesting and fun character, but I struggled to recall the last time I'd read Nimrod in a comic.
Go ahead.
I agree. I agree. It's been a while since I've seen Nimrod in any type of specific great storyline.
I like when writers take characters that maybe aren't at the forefront and bring them back in and utilize them in a way that hasn't been used before. To me, I forgot what I was going to say.
I was going to shout out the chat. Jason Misexplained says he liked seeing the little drone Nimrod, which was in the 1000, the 1000 group. It was kind of fun to see the way Nimrod has evolved as a character as well. Bueller, you need to stop heckling. He's sitting there on the couch, staring at him.
He's like a distracting mother back here.
You know,
I'm enjoying this. This is fun.
This is just.
He's sitting there just watching.
He's making me a nervous wreck.
Bueller just
Stop it. Okay,
he's been on the show enough.
The crowd's going wild. Come on. Here we go.
Strangely enough for me, and you may disagree with this was a more cohesive book than House of X. House of X felt like it was more all over the place.
Wow, I might say I have a different the opposite reaction for me. I felt like House of X for me. I followed the it's got a main story and then there's some little stories playing in. This one felt like it was 4 stories kind of stuck together that didn't necessarily gel as well. But again, that was just
really because I felt like this was absolutely one straight cohesive story, whereas House of X was a bunch of stories that are going to converge eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I have hope that they will converge, and again, it didn't affect my enjoyment of it. And I'd be curious to hear from Sam. Did you feel like one or the other was a more cohesive read?
Well, of course, I enjoyed the the first part of the book where you talk about the first year and then year 10, and then the latter parts. I felt all lost there. I was trying to figure out what's going on. There was some kind of mention of some kind of conflict that happened. So, yeah.
I also want to say someone was giving us the info on Nimrod. I think Caleb said he's a Sentinel version of Juggernaut that can teleport. I don't remember having Juggernaut be a part of it, so clearly that escaped me 100%.
It is an acronym. I don't know what it's for, but it's an acronym.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I know he is as strong as the Juggernaut.
Okay.
What I was going to say is earlier, I remember now. Still got it. I'm very interested to see how this and House of X kind of come together. Because right now, they feel like very different books.
Definitely. Yeah. So now our story in House of X is supposed to be what, year 10?
I think so.
Yeah, because year 0 is
year 10, and we're getting in this book, in my opinion, a lot of year 100, a glimpse of year 1000, and then that sort of preface in year 0. Is that kind of seem reasonable?
I think
so. It definitely takes place in the year 100 or the X2.
Gray Matter Hulk's got a great comment that I think is classic storytelling issue, right? He says, in my opinion, it gives us the end of the story and we know that they're going to lose. So why keep reading? We know Krakoa fails or falls, he says. I will say, I enjoy sometimes a story if it's done well, where they let you know this is going to happen. And you're more just trying to figure out, well, okay, then how did they get there?
Yeah.
Also, time travel is a crazy thing, and who knows what's going to happen? Maybe this is the current future, but what happens in the events that take place in House of X change that future.
Okay, so Caleb says he has an equal strength rating as Juggernaut, looks like a robot Juggernaut, and hence the description. Okay, I got it.
And Grey Matter Hulk also says Moira was also from the future, so how did she get there in year 0?
Definitely. Clearly she had knowledge and came back, but she looks the same.
And that was the page that they were hyping up right in the ads.
Oh my god. Yeah, it did not seem all that impressive, but
well, because we don't know what that means yet.
You think they're going to go revisit that moment and show us what he found in her mind?
I would expect, because I mean they don't reference it at all in this, really.
So let's go through the story. We start with the quote. Here's the thing, Charles. If it's real, it's not real. It's not a dream. If it's real, Moira McTaggart. Yeah. Then we get a little glimpse of all these 4 timelines, and it's Charles, it's Nimrod, and then it's
the librarian.
Yeah, we don't really know.
Well, yeah, by the end of the book.
Yeah, and then we dive into year 0. And we have that moment. So, Sam, what did you think of this early bit here with Xavier and Moira at I guess it's a fair?
I thought it was very interesting that, he seems to be just sitting there alone on the bench, thinking, and you find out he had a bit of a dream. So, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it's a very interesting interaction because, when Moira walks up to him, she clearly is leading the conversation in a way that he isn't aware of at first.
Yeah, he cues into the way she's talking to him pretty late for a psychic.
Well, I think, yeah, pretty late for a psychic, but also it shows that he's not just reading everyone's mind all the time.
I would hope not, but clearly the newer version, with the giant dome, he's probably more invasive than the old one.
Yeah, you never know. That would be exhausting, I think, to just constantly be reading everyone's mind. You always see that in shows and movies and stuff where people first get that whole thing where they can read people's minds and they're just like, oh, I can hear everything. So.
Oh, man. So then we get a little bit of year 1 or year 10, sorry, X1, year 10, where we get to see Magneto and Mystique, and finally we get to see Xavier with the fishbowl talk a little bit.
Yeah, and guess what? He's a real dick.
Shocking twist.
Yeah.
So Sam, do you feel like Professor X in this version is the villain or is going to be our villain in this story?
It seems like it's made to believe that he is, but I'm not really sure yet. This is this is issue 1, so I need a little bit more with this on that one. But it seems like he is. I mean, and Mystique doesn't seem like, she's being Mystique, and
not very intimidated by him.
No.
Because through my recollections, Xavier's had many opportunities of being a villain in the epic years of X-Men, right? Whether it's the Shadow King stuff or, there's been several villainous Professor X's. It's not a new kind of idea, but this sort of cult leader side I found kind of interesting, and it definitely seems to be reinforced in this scene.
Oh, yeah.
Cults are only bad when they start doing bad stuff.
Deep.
Well,
that's what I'm here for.
2 layers deep. That's how you got to 1,000 right there.
Yeah, by saying dumb stuff like that. Hey, can we talk about the new characters?
Yeah. So we jump out of there and we get to. Well, firstly, I don't know how to deal with Xavier's relationship to the plants, where he's sticking the microchips in. I'm not going to skip all that. We get to year what's supposed to be X2. That was the printing mistake I sent to Alec. It's supposed to be X2, but they wrote X1. No biggie. Year 100.
Huge deal. It totally took me out of the story.
Well, it did make me pause and check and
Wow,
think.
really?
No, I'm joking.
Oh.
I mean,
Oh,
We get to see some mutants
it
in the
was a
future.
noticeable mistake, though.
And I don't know any of them. I don't think that are they all new characters?
Yes.
Okay, because I just want to make sure. I haven't read X-Men in a long time. It's possible these are heard of before. Why don't you tell us what you think of these guys, Alec?
The red Nightcrawler looking guy called the Cardinal, who they also refer to as the Priest. Awesome. Like,
he's awesome.
all of a sudden, like, one of my favorite X-Men.
Really?
I thought it was so interesting that, because it's this idea of him being a genetic pacifist.
I love the term. If you didn't say it, genetic pacifism is fascinating, right?
He literally can't fight. It's not a moral choice. It is in his DNA that he is unable to enter combat, and how they explain in one of those giant blocks of text, which I have mixed feelings about, that there's this whole slew of these priest cardinals who decide to not even go by names because they're so much pacifists that they, I guess, choose to not be individuals. So I thought it was super interesting, and where they could go with that is fascinating. And then obviously Rasputin, total super badass. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if she's Omega level, but man, she seems pretty strong.
Yeah.
What mutant powers did you recognize in her, Sam? Because she
Well-
seems like an amalgam, right?
Yeah. Clearly, she's got at least 3 amalgams in there. It seems like she's got, I want to say maybe some Colossus, possibly.
Definitely. For sure. She's even got like armor, and the costume even threw me like back to old school Colossus.
I want to say Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde is in there. And then she's got that big sword, and that sword just reminded me of Magic.
Absolutely. That was the one I thought of too.
Yeah.
If you notice here in this very nondescript thing, this is her 5 powers.
Yeah. Things like she can teleport.
Yep.
Can I raise an interesting thought on the pacifism thing?
Yes.
I feel like it's a really challenging thing to quantify. Couldn't a pacifist still teleport in and rescue people? Or is that abetting war? Because I feel like there were several moments where I thought, like, couldn't the guy just help the girl escape? Isn't that not fighting? I feel like there was a point where it was like, it's gone past just pacifism to like apathy. Like, I can't do anything.
Yeah, well, she even refers to him as like bred to be a coward.
Well, then, and Chris Barrett throws out some jokes like that, but I felt like it seems like there's a real line that's being drawn that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because clearly she can help. She doesn't need to like actively fight people, but couldn't she be of some use and aid? Or sorry, he be of some use and aid without breaking his genetic pacifist side?
Well, clearly he has done something to aid and abet the war if he's there to steal the stuff.
Right.
So he clearly for some reason can't do anything that involves.
Yeah, I think when there's like conflict, when there's conflict going on, you can't enter the field of conflict
To affect the outcome of an engagement.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, because I had trouble in my mind. I was like, yeah, I could understand that genetically he is unable to inflict harm on other people. That like he just is unable to do that. But I feel like there's still several ways in which he could be of use, just like a medic in war, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean, clearly, if they sent him on this very important mission that, like, clearly they have, you know, they reference multiple times how important this information that they gather is. If they sent him on this mission, he has some sort of useful, worthwhile abilities that are very important if he was one of the 4 people chosen to go. And it's got to be more than just growing gates with seeds.
Yeah.
So that brings
Thanks for the laugh, Bueller.
So that brings us to our third mutant, the one with the black brain, right? This woman with the black brain. Did they give her a name? I can't remember.
Yes, she is called.
She is it Silobel?
That sounds familiar. We know her. Silo Bell was born. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. She's got, the black brain.
Yeah.
Which is creepy. And it seems to be the one that they're most interested in grabbing, although they clearly, the sentinels that show up clearly want to grab all of them.
Yeah, I think they are unable to grab Rasputin because they, you know, while they're shooting her, they're like, plasma or metal don't do anything to her.
She's clearly very tough to grab.
So, I mean, we don't really get to see what Silobel's abilities are as much, but it seems like Rasputin is the queen bee. Like, she seems like she's the most powerful of these new, like, 4th tier mutants, whatever they are.
Yeah, and yet they don't. Yeah, they don't give us much info.
No.
But we do get this great sequence now. The Sentinels bring her before Nimrod, and in Nimrod's giant rod-shaped tower, and he gets to go through and have this conversation with her. And I don't quite understand all of his assistants and how they fit into all this, because it seems like his goal is to take all these mutants away. So this woman probably isn't a mutant that he's talking to, the red lady.
No, she's some sort of android.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this lady with the like weird gun hand and the things on the side of her head. And
yeah, I thought his whole speech was so funny, where, you know, you bring him into this, you know, dark side looking lair with this guy in a throne, and you think he's this guy who's gonna just like spout this, you know, very villainous speech. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I never meant to do this, and like this wasn't my intention." And super funny, made me laugh.
yeah, he apologizes a bunch, and he later is like, "I'm so sorry." Even the right,
Yeah.
like a great.
And then
the you know, you hear these evil android voices, and that's not the voice that I started hearing.
Oh.
Here.
no,
You could definitely hear this almost like awkward robot human voice. Like, it was just really it did not fit this giant behemoth.
and the little scene where he's like, "Can I do it? Can I do it?" And he starts like clapping. So funny.
I'm like, wow, this guy is he's getting very excited about interrogating this young lady.
Yeah, I mean, but at that point, even they're done interrogating her. They're just putting her into the quote the bath.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Trying to get her mind, all that information.
Disintegrating her. But she still is around in the year 1000 version. So it takes quite a while to disintegrate, apparently, in this bath.
Yeah, there's some kind of absorption thing that he talks about is going to happen to her in the tube.
Right.
So I don't know if he's absorbing just energy or her powers or genetic knowledge or whatever.
Yeah,
but
it's something about like turning her into data.
Yeah, exactly. And then we jump. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, for something from the future, that seems to take quite a long time to get all that information or something. It's taking forever there. She's still there in the future later on.
The tube, yeah.
Well,
what's going on?
You know, clearly
Beat it up.
Nimrod has a different lifespan than humans or even mutants. So maybe for him it's not as long as would be for you or I. I don't know, but yes, I thought it was going to be something that happened in a matter of a shorter period of time than 900 years.
Now, Jason mentions the black brain and how it is part of the generation that she is in that was designed to be like able to resist certain attacks. So is it possible that the reason it takes her longer to wear down or break down is because of whatever is her black brain?
Maybe. But even in the goop, she's still like able to resist it.
Maybe.
It's a good question, John. I know there's a reason I kept you around.
Actually, it came from Comics Misexplained. Although I guess, yeah, I built on his.
Should have known.
Yeah, that's probably right. So can I ask about the next page, though? We go to the No Place hub, which, if you remember from House of X, folks, this is like one of the things the flowers can do for mutants is create a space that cannot be accessed like some of the other portals that they are allowed to use. Why are the first 3 panels upside down? I could not figure these out.
I think that's because that is part of the process. Maybe it's not a mistake at all. I don't know. I'm willing to give
because the writing is not upside down, just the art.
Yeah, well, why that would be terrible if you had to flip the book upside down to read it. I think it's
not a printing mistake.
It's the sort of no, it's definitely not. I think it's the sort of thing where it's supposed to be like they're walking through these dimensions where this dimension is this way and this dimension is the other way. So when you walk through this way here, all of a sudden the reality up in this one is upside down. So when you walk through it, it's like you're walking on the ceiling.
Yeah, I like Alex's answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John seems unimpressed, as usually.
Yeah, I mean, I that's how I took it. It's just odd. Like there was just these 3 panels, and then it was like, nope, we're in, and then it says Krakoa. So like they're bipping from one location to the next. Rasputin and the Cardinal, if you don't know who I'm talking about, to get back to the remaining mutant leadership, I guess you could say, because clearly between year 10, like someone like Gray Matter was saying, between year 10 and year 100, Krakoa has been something of a failure. Mutants have had a bit of a downfall, and now the Sentinels are in charge in some ways.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, thanks. Good times.
Yeah.
They introduced the go ahead.
You didn't have a question. I was just commenting on the who cares? The year 100 group. Is it impressive that Magneto looks like he hasn't aged? Yeah, especially since Wolverine, who is clearly, I mean, is it Magneto?
That's a good question. Maybe it's not Magneto, just somebody who dresses like him.
Because he seems very fit.
Yeah.
For someone who was already.
We're talking about Magneto?
Yeah, I mean, he's old in year 10. Now we're 90 years later, and he looks.
I might have an answer.
Oh, give it. Do it.
Okay. Well, he's Magneto. So maybe he is able to manipulate the irons in his body, and it's making him look younger. How about that? We'll go with that.
I don't hate it.
I mean, I'm trying to come up with something clever here.
He is Omega level, right?
Yeah, see? There you go.
Comics Explained said he has gray beard hairs, I think. Yeah.
He does? He does.
But I mean, he had white hair in year 10.
Yes. I don't like that outfit.
Wolverine has gray beard hairs, and Wolverine is older than Magneto. Spoilers for
he's always going to be the old man of the group.
I don't know the other 2 mutants here. The Groot look-alike, and then this guy who's like Mystic Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that guy in the background he was part of. He looks like one of the guys who was in the Grant Morrison run.
Okay.
I'm his name is escaping me. But he looks just like that guy.
Okay. And then the other is a Groot Swamp Thing mix.
Gray Matter Hulk says it could be another clone. It could be his son. It could be a hybrid. It definitely could be Quicksilver. Definitely, like we have already established that there are clones happening on Krakoa, so that is not out of the question.
Aggressively relaxing is trying to burn Patrick Stewart. We don't burn Picard in
Whoa,
here.
whoa. Yeah, don't.
Pump the brakes, buddy.
Yeah,
Bald is beautiful.
Or as he looked young his whole life.
We know Xavier was growing, so maybe he's continuing to grow more Magnetos every year.
I do think it's cool that, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but the whole thing of Krakoa and the plants, it's like a big thing. And
right.
Then we have this plant man and a green Magneto who is theoretically like embracing the natural
the natural order of Krakoa.
I didn't think about that side of it. That's clever. I like that.
Thanks. I came up with it myself, not the writer of this but very important X-Men book.
Now, I want to ask, and we can all assume, but I'm going to ask Sam, the end of this year 100 sequence is Logan says, all right, then follow me. The old man's waiting. Who do you think the old man is, Sam?
Well, I think that's going to be Professor X. So.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine it's anybody else, right?
Yeah, but he says old man, so
could be Cyclops.
He could be. Well, it's true. He could be seriously in a wheelchair of some sort and just on his dying last days. There, I don't know.
Let's picture him with like really long, unkempt fingernails and this like scraggly, like wispy beard.
Yeah.
Liver spots.
Is it pathetic or weird that I want it to be somebody else?
No.
Like who?
I don't know that it matters to me. I mean, I would be pumped if it was like Legion. Maybe his son's worked out his kinks and he's taken over for dad. Like I just would like it to be somebody else, but that's just me.
Interesting. Whatever.
Okay, so that's the end of that sequence, and then we move to year 1000, and we get to jump to like 5-6 panels of, Black Brain still in the jar, still slowly devolving, and then this newer alien creature thing down here, seeming to wear a kind of Cerebro helmet of sorts, in the archive of Nimrod the Greater, the mutant library, and talking to this little Nimrod.
Nimrod.
I did not realize at first that it was Nimrod until they said it was. And maybe I'm just too much of a dope to figure that out. But.
Well, it's got pink on it, so I just went with that.
Well, on the next page, she says, it's no one's fault, Nimrod.
All right.
Yeah. Unless she's making fun of it and calling it a name.
That could be.
Which, wouldn't be the first time.
But yes, she's referred to as the librarian, which, kind of, she's some sort of archivist.
And then, of course, his word bubbles are done with the same, like, shape or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I did think, the ending of this sequence is pretty wild. She goes out on a balcony, looks down on, like, a little dome down below, where we have, like, a Garden of Eden inside, and appears to be Adam and Eve ready to get it on.
Yeah.
Am I reading too much into that?
No, that's exactly what it is.
I know you might be.
I don't want to say that's exactly what it is, but that's exactly how I read it.
And then the quote from Rasputin: "You've forgotten that machines have no soul, and the humans lost theirs a long time ago."
So is year 1000 actually year 0?
What time is a flat circle?
I've heard that.
A reset button?
Yeah. But I mean, where which cycle are we in House of X?
It's not Adam and Eve. Chris Barrett says it's Rogue and Gambit.
Yeah,
Is that a Story Comic Core reference?
I like that.
At first I didn't really think this, but the hair kind of looks like Wolverine, so I didn't know.
I thought the same thing. Absolutely.
The grandson of Wolverine.
So let me then pose the question: do we believe that the structure they've set for both Powers and House, will be consistent? Meaning Powers will kind of be telling 3 different timeline stories at the same time, whereas House of X will be a strictly year 10 story.
That's a great question.
I would say no. At one point, it seems like we're going to get back-to-back Power of X.
Yeah, I was going to say there's, and then back-to-back House of X's. So,
but that doesn't negate the chance that Powers of X will continue to tell 4 timelines, and that House will tell the one main timeline. That they're separated in the sense that, like, this book seems to be focusing mainly on the future years, and maybe House of X would focus on the present timeline.
Well, I would have to assume that they converge at some point. The question is, do they converge in year 10, or do they converge in year 100, or somewhere else? But I would assume that this book is going to be telling all 4 timelines, since it's the Powers of 10 book, and that House of X is going to be concentrated, at the very least concentrated in the single timeline.
Right.
And then as they kind of start to come together, it might.
Possible.
I don't know. I'm all in, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be some kind of conflict happening probably fairly shortly in this series.
Does anybody think that, how about this? Which mutants in our House of X storyline do you think, because Reggie made some great comments in his video about clones, replacements, and we talked a little bit about that last week. Which mutants do we think in our present storyline are not the originals? Sam, is there any mutants that you would like? Oh, that's a pod person.
Ooh. Not at this time. I'm not quite there yet.
I mean, I looked at Wolverine. We get him for like 2 panels, and he's basically playing like romper room with the kids. Like, he's a babysitter, and I was like, okay, pod person, right? Like, for me, Wolverine, in his little that we saw of him in the last book, seems straight up pod person.
But you forget, everybody drink. One of the few people that he has a kinship with in the X-Men is Jubilee, who is.
That's true.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Had to fit it in there. So I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but he has an affinity for children.
And he has plenty of them.
It's true.
Yes.
Apparently there's a new one now.
Another new one after Marvel Comics Presents?
No, I mean, a few weeks.
But yeah.
Your video, right, Alec, where you were trying to explain the evolution of Psylocke as well, which I thought never fully understood, and I really want to thank you for that. If you guys haven't seen the video, Alec,
I don't know that I explained it well, but
yesterday I think you dropped it.
I put my money where my mouth is and picked up the book today.
And he was talking spec. Really, I think he was talking like story arc, and specifically Psylocke as a character, who I've always thought was really confusing, because they just every time a new writer or artist wanted to come in, they flipped it in a random new direction.
Yeah.
And Claremont had a storyline in general, but even he made shifts along the way.
So what I found out in researching that video was that it was actually a mistake. So Fabian Naitia, however you say his name,
artist,
who was writing the book, the X-Men book. I think that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, he didn't ever read the lead up to the Psylocke story. So he just like jumped into it thinking he knew what was going on, and they had to like retcon the whole thing to have it make sense. Which is part of the reason why it's so absurdly confusing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But basically, it's all set now. Psylocke is Psylocke, and Betsy is now Captain Britain, and there's no more confusion.
But they both have psychic blades.
And there used to be another Captain Britain, a female Captain Britain. I don't know what happened to her, but
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she at the very tail end, right before Brian Michael Bendis took over Avengers, there was a female Captain Britain who was offered to join the Avengers, I believe. So, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like comic books is like wrestling, where like someone is a character and then they decide they're not working out as that character, so they kind of rewrite them.
Yeah, or they
like,
kill them off.
It's like Carol Danvers. How many different characters can she be?
Kachung has thrown out a question about the about one of the pages with all the writing and the symbols. He's talking about the one, the surviving mutants one, where they talk about the year 1000 and how it's kind of laid out where the mutants are, and it gives you these 3 primary locations where you can find mutants left in the universe.
Yep.
Mainly in the Shi'ar galaxy, and then a few of them, these 8, on asteroid K, which has been something that's come up many times in the Marvel comics, right? Asteroid K wasn't like Magneto living on it back in Jim Lee when he started X-Men. Like there's a whole storyline with him being on asteroid K or asteroid M.
I thought that was asteroid M.
So many asteroids.
I know. But I
clearly M came first.
Yes. But asteroid K, was clearly for Krakoa.
See, that's why you bring the architect places, Alec. Don't laugh, Bueller. Bueller's heckling. Imagine having to do a show like this with a heckler. I make my kids leave.
Comic Books NYC is dropping some hot Susan spec in the chat. Completely unrelated, but there's some chatter on the CBCS forums that Black Panther 2 villain is going to be Namor. Some sources that had Shang-Chi before Marvel confirmed it at San Diego Comic-Con. So,
well, yeah, I think I remember in Endgame that throwaway line where they say, "What do we do about earthquakes under the ocean? We don't do anything. We leave it alone." And that line alone was setting up the idea that there's already a relationship between Atlantis and
So everyone go pick up the very affordable first appearance of Namor.
Right? Yeah, run out and grab that.
Yeah. Nope. That's gonna be a hard pass.
Well, honestly, I just don't know that I like the character enough to even care. So hopefully they do a great job with him.
Yeah, but once as we established on Monday, once it spikes in value, you're going to want it more.
Believe me, Namor is a bit complicated. He's more than just arrogance. Okay.
I just knew him as the guy who always runs on land, grabs Sue Storm, and runs off with her.
There's a little bit more than that. A little bit. I mean, not much, but there's a little bit.
Reed Richards lets him get away with murder, I think.
Yeah, he does.
Do you think the librarian character is somebody that we already know? Is it possible, or is this clearly just the next iteration 900 years after anything we've ever seen before?
I didn't think of that.
Clearly my brain. And based on where we are in year 1000, it seems like Nimrod won. That he's done well for the last 900 years.
Yeah, I mean, did he win? I mean, he even kind of expresses the fact that like maybe it wasn't the right thing to do. So, yes, maybe he like achieved his goal at the time, but I don't even know if he looks at it as victorious. Would you say that's fair?
I was just putting a hashtag robot regret into the chat.
Well, I don't know.
TJ's yelling at you.
It's weird because he's he's this little drone floating around. What happened to his body that he can walk around in?
He's wireless now.
I mean, I don't know. To me, that doesn't seem like an upgrade. To me,
No,
I'd rather walk around places.
Much more mobile.
But he doesn't have arms. I don't know. No. I don't know.
Maybe he's got a slew of helper monkeys.
I love hearing Bueller just.
Yeah, we need to get a live audience for this show more often.
Well, usually I have the cheers of my fans at the beginning.
Right.
But I got a heckler tonight.
Got the peanut gallery over there.
So
Chris Bear dropping the hashtag #FreeD4 in the chat.
Yep. Well, and now I drop the hashtag Free Lords of the Long Box, man. They got their channel all over the place too.
Yeah.
So we want to free the Lords of the Long Box and get TiVo back in his place of power again. So can we assume that the three of us, everybody's going to continue to get House and Powers for the rest of the run?
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
I mean, well, I never want to say I'm going to buy the whole run at issue 1. I'm going to certainly buy issue 2 of both, and if it takes a sharp turn downward, but I can't see that it was. Like I'm assuming at this point I'm going to buy the whole series.
Well, and you're talking about 10 more comics, right? I mean, it's not like
it's $6 a piece.
That's true. But you're not investing in the world. I definitely, even if it starts to derail a little bit, I think I'm going to ride it out and just kind of see what at this point, he's earned enough leeway with these 2 books to let me keep going with it.
It's going to be a pretty sick omnibus.
Have you noticed that Bueller is like lurking on another level? Because he hasn't even said anything in the chat after that $10 super chat. He's just lurking.
Yeah, well, he makes his approval known with his laughter.
Well, don't get him all riled up. He's busy over here trying to play a game over here.
I just picture him like the bucket of popcorn and
he sent me a photo to my Instagram of the view from the couch. Let me go to Gray Matter Hulk, they're having a really good discussion in the chat about Nimrod and the Librarian and the possibilities of mutant, robot, human, and whatever. And he says for the Librarian, at least, it seems to me that she is a mutant that came back to the planet. The machines are gone and the humans have been jailed. That's a deep cut.
Yeah.
The drone is a downloaded clone of the Nimrod hard drive, says Kachung. And then Gray Matter was saying, is the Librarian a mutant or a machine? It seems to be a living tissue to me, like an alien almost life form. But 900 years later, I was just lurking till you pissed me off, John.
Yeah.
I wasn't attacking. Jeez.
I'm gonna go with this is Nimrod version 9. So
9.0.
Mark 9.
Yeah, kind of like Ultron.
Yeah.
So.
I was just trying to make a joke, TJ. I do think Namor needs to stop robbing surface women and find his own ocean woman.
This is true.
I'm speaking about love.
Love has no boundaries between mutant and mankind.
Well, either way, Sue gets a mutant baby, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I mean,
the Sentinel head from issue 1 is Nimrod's head. Chris Barrett says.
Really?
Is that true facts or is that spec?
Seems like it's spec.
By the way,
interesting. It would certainly explain the use of that 3-page story part that you were frustrated with, Alec, where they were all of a sudden jumping to like SHIELD agents in space working on the giant Sentinel head, which was like a space station.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly has something to do with that. I just don't know if it's actually Nimrod.
It would be cool. I think it would be a nice linking idea that where's Nimrod in year 0 or year 10 at that point. That might be a useful step there.
I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the fact that we have 5 minutes till midnight East Coast time. This show could be done in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Just bim, Hangouts done.
Yeah, I made the joke to John when he first brought that up that the chances of it being with me mid-dick joke was going to be pretty high.
This is like Y2K stuff right here.
Yeah. We got to figure out what we're going to do for next week. Drew Manchu, baby, in the chat.
Well,
said he loved both number
you're
one.
not here
Me
next
too.
week, Alec, remember?
I'm not here next week. So we got 2 weeks to figure it out.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be doing a few different live streams for those that don't know between now and the next official book club, which is in 2 weeks. And hopefully we'll have figured out something that'll work. I'll be hosting the next book club anyways. And so hopefully I've ironed out some things. If it's StreamYard, I know that seems to be a popular choice. And then we'll test it out for that book club. Next week, I will say, I'm planning a show for Wednesday that I'll do so that there's something going on that hour. So make sure you're around. I'll be doing something.
Hard spec on first appearance of the Maker. That's what I was going to say.
The Maker.
Yeah. Ultimate Fantastic Four 1.
I don't know that I know anything about that character, Sam. You know the Maker?
He is a alternate version of Reed Richards.
Correct.
He's just like evil genius.
Okay.
The guy.
A lot of people think that's who Professor X actually is.
You know what? And he's the one that shows up in. Oh dang! Was it Immortal Hulk at the beginning of that run? Dang it! I gotta check. There was a storyline I was reading where he showed up not that long ago. Crud. No, it was it was the Venom, Donny Cates Venom at the beginning of that run, or in the middle of that run. He showed up there, right? He was in the lab. He's in Venom.
Yeah.
Thank you. Misexplained. Yes.
He also said it's only because of the helmet, but
Right.
It's very reminiscent.
Well, they both have that same like black bodysuit thing too, where they do the like poses and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's what evil people do.
Is pose dramatically.
They pose in black outfits with big helmets.
It sounds about right. So we gotta kind of stick it out for another 2 minutes.
As I say, we got 2 minutes exactly. Time is happening, folks. This is like Y2K.
No, this is fun.
Drew and Chu says Xavier's X. Yeah, that's what I in my spec video I brought that up. Is that he's so I've already spec'd on that book, baby.
Which book is that?
That's the Astonishing X-Men number 7.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Or 6, depending on which one you want to pick. As I called it the Wolverine rule. Which one is his first appearance and which one's
We're in the last few seconds. JP's excited.
I'm telling you, we have to go to 3 a.m.
Hard crash. Cut off mid dick joke. Here we go.
Okay, dick jokes. Damn it. Much like a real dick, under pressure, I don't perform.
Hey, you got that joke getting under the wire.
Yeah, Comic Books NYC also agrees only 3 a.m. But just do an impression.
If you did an impression of Dick Van Dyke, it would.
Oh, there you go.
Keeping. Oh.
Yeah, we made it. It would have been great if I ended the stream as it hit midnight.
Intentionally, turned it off.
Just to mess people up.
Are you making a joke that misexplained? Yeah, circumcision. I can't even pronounce it anymore.
Circumcision. It's after midnight. All bets are off.
Has it been
JP's budget collecting says, yeah, 3 a.m. Just keep going. I won't make it. You West Coasters, it's only 9 there, right?
We're gonna party it up back here.
Yeah.
Can I just say thank you, Sam, for coming here and doing the show. We've been trying to make this work for a while now. The architect is just the bomb. You see him as a wrench all over the place on Instagram, on YouTube. You see him, I appreciate all that you do and the incredible knowledge that you bring.
I just want to say, hey, thank you for having me on here on your show. This is a great thing to hang out with you guys and talk about this awesome book.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. I want to say congratulations to everyone who hit the 1K mark with me this week. Boyard 7 and
Discovery Bay.
Discovery Bay, thank you. I think that's all, the three of us, right?
Yeah.
Who did it this week. Pretty good though, and thanks to Bueller for helping us get over the hump, shouting me out.
Bueller bump.
Yeah, and that Rob Liefeld video also got the Bueller bump, hitting those views.
Is it?
Yeah, because he picked that one to be like, hey, go check out this guy's channel. I'm like, cool.
Of course I did that.
And John for hitting 700. I'm working on his video. I will not be entering
the
the
contest going. I'll say hi in the chat again. You can click my name and check out my channel. But yeah, come do the contest, man. I had JP did a phenomenal entry this afternoon. It was hysterical, and Daniel Arzola did one a couple days ago. But you can just do a post on Instagram and write it out if you'd rather, and that'll still count for 2 rounds of our 3-round competition.
I was hoping I was going to be the first entry, but I spent most of the day today trying to figure out how to
count to 7.
Pick my people and my objects. And I still only have 4.
I'm excited.
No, it's
there's a wide range of people and things to get together there.
One may even say it's overwhelming.
Yes.
He texted me. He's like, "This is really complicated."
I said it's extremely hard. And there's the dick joke for the evening, guys.
Oh. Did you notice? I don't know if you watched JP's, but he said the item he would give me is Ahab's harpoon so that I could kill the white whale.
Cool. Thanks, JP.
Because he said that it was not possible that I could ever beat Alec at anything. So
I wouldn't go that far.
It is the Ahab life that I live.
You are, well, in reality, infinite percentage, but for the sake of argument, 200% more children than I have that I know of. You guys want to plug anything else?
You got any videos coming up, Sam? You got your haul video coming up?
I got. You never know what you're gonna get from me. I've got a video coming probably Friday or early Saturday, probably right after watching a little bit of Saturday Morning there with John's Council Kids. So yeah, it's gonna be a whole great weekend.
Nice.
Chris Barrett says, hashtag gone too soon. So if you guys didn't watch Story Comic Core this week, it was a hot mess, but it was a blast.
It was a very funny hot mess, I will tell you.
It got severely mixed reviews, but I think we're going to stick with it for a couple weeks to see how it goes. I had fun. I think the other panels had fun. And check out all the other Comic Core shows. They just announced the winners for the Baltimore contest. So congrats to Bear Island coming in first place, holding it down with the song. Hard to beat that song. It's been in my head.
But then Caleb came in second, Houdat in third, and Bake the Snake in fourth.
Yeah. And we were short Comics Mix Explained this past Monday, so it's going to be even more of a hoot and holler next week. We started with House of X #1. So John coined the term psychic spec of what that show is now, because we came up with some some Buck Wild stuff for issue 2 that's going to happen. So if any of it comes true,
you heard it there first.
You heard it there first. Psychic Spec.
I've got one other show this coming weekend that I wanted to shout out. I'm supposed to be working with Fire Guy Ryan and Perry Comics, and we're going to do a movie review show. We picked 3 movies that are streaming on Netflix right now. We've all watched them. We're going to give each movie about 15 minutes. We're going to give you the review, tell you what we think about it, give it a little breakdown, and then move on to the next one, kind of like the old Siskel and Ebert show. If anybody knows who Siskel and Ebert are, I know that Perry had no clue who those people were. But where they would just go through and they would give you a brief synopsis, quick little comments about the movie, and then let you know whether you should see it or not, and then move on.
Bear Island and I are working on something together. I also have 2 AOKs right above my head that I need to open at some point.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome.
Nice.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to John. Thanks to Sam. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks for Bueller for being in the peanut gallery. Never turn your back to the ocean. Bye.